Hi, this is Teresa Widowson, and I'm here at the Poppy Jasper Film Festival headquarters, where the excitement has begun and the films are showing at the Cinelux Theater in Morgan Hill. We're about to be in the middle of the reception here for all the filmmakers, and I'm hoping to pull a few of them aside and have some interviews. I'm here now with Alistair Rutherford, who's a writer on the film 8 Words here, shown at the Poppy Jasper Film Festival. Hi, Alistair.
Hi, Teresa. Hi.
Thank you for agreeing to talk to me.
Not at all. It's nice to be here.
Now, you traveled a long way to come here, is that correct?
I did, yeah. I live in Edinburgh, in Scotland. So I flew from Edinburgh down to London and then straight across to San Francisco.
So when did you have to leave to get here?
I left Edinburgh 8 a.m. Thursday morning, and I arrived here I was traveling for about 13, 14 hours. So
did you travel back in time? Did I get that right? Did you travel back in time to get here?
yes, which I'm still trying to work it out. I'm still working on UK time, but UK is 8 hours ahead of us just now.
So tell me a little bit about your film.
Well, it's a short film. It's 6 minutes long. The script is two pages, so it's really quite a condensed, tight story. The premise is that there's a husband and wife, and he works on submarines. So when he goes to sea, the only means of communication is his wife can send him a message once per week, and the message can only be 8 words long. So, and he cannot reply to that message. So whatever news she sends, he has to cope with that. So she's had some very sad news, and she has to now find the correct 8 words to let him know that she's expecting a child. So she's lost the baby, but she has to tell him that really sad news. But she also wants him to know that she's okay and that they'll try again. So she has to be able to do all of that in 8 words. It's quite a challenge.
As a writer, that's a challenge.
Yeah, I do like challenges as a writer, and I was speaking to a friend who actually does work on, or he did work in submarines, so that side of the story is true. That's what used to happen back in the 1970s. I don't think it's the situation now, but I don't know for sure. And when I heard that, I became very interested in trying to tell a story around that. And I tried to work out, well, should it be good news or bad news, sad news? And I chose sad news. And she goes through a process of choosing a different set of 8 words. And finally, she does arrive at this kind of choice that does work. And that is where the film finishes. Because it's a single actress. She's the only person in the film, and she's talking to camera most of the way through. So we hear all her thoughts, really.
How long did it take you to write get to the final version?
This was an unusual one because I wrote that draft in about an hour, something like that. I wrote it very quickly. But it's a short piece, it's 2 pages. And obviously I revised it slightly afterwards, but I sort of knew that what I'd produced in the first draft, and this doesn't happen very often, but it's a nice thing when it does. I thought that's not bad. That's actually quite good as it is. So I put it to the side for a while, which is the way I work, and then you come back to it later and see if it still works. And it was still working, so it sat on a shelf for months and months, and then I thought, well, I'd like to do something with that. So I started to show it to people and get their reactions to it. And I got some excellent reactions, which confirmed in my own mind that I should really try and get this film made now. Once I got a director on board, we made 1 or 2 changes, but he was so struck by the script, and this is what he's told me as well, he didn't want to change anything. He wanted to film the script as it was. He made a lot of very good decisions about how to film it, but the script pretty much remained intact throughout. So that's unusual.
So how did you find your director and your actor and everyone?
I found Christopher Hood, who's the director, through an internet bulletin which is based in the UK, but there's a lot of members in the US as well. It's called Shooting People. It's a Filmmakers network. All kind of people go on that: directors, producers, sound people, actors, actresses, everyone, and writers. Once a week you can pitch story ideas. And I pitched the story idea one Wednesday morning, and Christopher saw it and emailed and asked to read the script, and he read the script. And then he came back and said, I would really like to make the film. So we started a dialogue after that. And we've communicated through email and telephone calls, but we've never physically met yet. He lives in England, and I live in Scotland.
Even today, you've never still,
Yeah.
but he was your director, right?
Yeah. And he did all the casting. He did a test day, and he sent that screening, that film out to get industry people to give us feedback on it. So it's a very professional production. It wasn't done quickly. He spent a lot of time thinking about how to do this the best possible way. And the film that's now complete that was the decisions that we finally arrived at. So that's how I got a director, and he cast the film. He put out a call for an actress, and we knew we needed a really strong actress, and we were very lucky.
And so how did you shoot it if you never met your director? How did that work?
Well, he made all the technical decisions. He made the artistic decisions about how to film it, and then he got the crew together. He arranged the location, which was a difficult thing to do. He set everything up. He had help. I think this chap called Mark Tracy, who co-produced with Christopher.
Do you have a new project underway, or?
I've got a couple of things on the go at the moment. I won a feature screenplay competition, which is based in Toronto, for a science fiction thriller film, and that had 350 entries, and they've announced the 2 winners, and I'm one of those 2 winning scripts. So I'm not sure what to do with that now. That's a good result. That's a very good result. Very pleased with that, and I'm trying to work out what to do next with that. But it's potentially quite a big budget film, so it may never get made, but it would be a very good calling card script for me. But in addition to that, I also write theatre. I also write radio plays for the BBC across the UK, so I've got one of those plays being broadcast on the 31st of December back home on Radio Scotland. The play's called Happy New Year because it's about Happy New Year. And I've got another theatre play which is rehearsing just now, and it'll be on stage in Glasgow next weekend after I go home. And we're doing 2 performances across there, and that's a full-length stage play. So I'm quite busy at the moment.
I was going to say, it sounds like you're pretty busy. What do you do on your off time?
I write. I'm a full-time writer, so this is my job, and I love it. It's going well just now to come to Morgan Hill. This is fantastic. Both Christopher and I were delighted that the film is accepted into the festival. It premiered in New York back in August. That's the first festival that took it, the New York City International Film Festival. That was a delight to find out that we were in such a prestigious festival. And then we heard we were in here as well, and fantastic. Really good.
Well, we're so glad that you came all the way over, and good luck with everything in your future.
Thank you. That's excellent. Thanks.
Hi, well, I'm here with a couple of other filmmakers, Mitchell Foster and Andrew Hamer, who were responsible for the film The Shot. So, Andrew, we'll start with you. So tell me a little bit, what is The Shot about?
Well, The Shot is it's a period short film set during the American Revolution. Basically involves the main character, Silvio, who is basically in this continual rivalry with his opponent, the Count, over a woman. So it's very kind of intense. It deals a lot with dueling, which was very common in that time. So it's we just tried to really deal with that kind of the rivalry, the tensions between these two characters over this one woman, and it's definitely the kind of lethal, often violent times that that period. So.
And so, Mitchell, what did you do on the film?
I was the producer on the film, so I guess I had to be the pain in everybody's butt and keep them on budget, keep them on time, and get the work done. So
That's what I was going to say is, where's the money? You spent too much money. What are you doing with my money? And so, Andrew, were you the director?
Yes, ma'am. I also wrote the script.
And were you the sole writer, or did you collaborate with anybody?
I was the sole writer.
And so how did you come up with the idea?
Well, I actually found a book, actually. It was an anthology of short stories, and this is based on a short story by Alexander Pushkin, and it was and ironically, he died in a duel. So it was just very poignant to me reading about the story, and just such an intriguing character obsessed with revenge, and it just really gripped me, and I wanted to do a short film based on it.
Mitchell, when you heard period piece, did you go, oh my goodness, where are we going to get all the costumes and the props and all that stuff?
Initially, yes. Well, I mean, he sent me the script about 6 months before, like, we even thought about getting together and shooting it, and we talked it over, and we've actually been childhood friends, so we've always kept in contact. And originally being from Williamsburg, Virginia, we're just surrounded with history and like the locations and reenactors. So I knew it was something that we could pull off, but probably only in our area. And we were fortunate enough to get all the resources we had, and it was pretty amazing actually that it all came together. And we had our costumes come from people who work on like History Channel productions, and like a lot of our reenactors actually brought their own outfits to share with other people. So we have like everything's like perfectly historically accurate, and it's just amazing. The sets, real colonial houses from the 1700s. It's just incredible.
There's something about working with a movie that is not in our time period. Don't you think it has just a special feel about it?
Yeah, I think it, not only I think it's more challenging because you have to think about the setting, the world, the people in a completely different light. And I'm sure coming up with the story and everything, I'm sure he can tell you even more about that. So
yes, what do you think about that?
Well, it was just difficult thinking in terms of that mindset, and just also things we take for granted that were not in that period. Even if it was just a tiny little thing like with our locations, if there were telephone wires, if there anything of that. So you have to definitely think in a more oftentimes more primitive mindset, but it was a challenge, but it was also like Mitchell said, it was very beneficial to us being in Virginia, being in a place where there was tons of history from the 18th century, and so having people who are passionate about, who knew so much more than we did about that period, and were anxious to help us out with it.
So have you made films together before?
We we made our first film together, and it was actually another period piece. It was a Civil War film for our history class in 7th grade, and that was maybe, yeah. And so I guess that's where we first got our start. Then we both went our separate ways, went to film schools, and after school, we came back and decided to collaborate on this before moving out to LA. And so that's kind of have like that awful childhood story, but it's fun. It's been good so far.
Did you go to the same film school?
No, we did not.
And you got back together anyway. That's kind of interesting.
It was just everything fell into place. It was interesting that he was thinking about moving out to California sooner, and then that didn't necessarily work out. So we were kind of collaborating on this project, and then we moved out to California. So it's been, and just everything fell into place magically. I mean, I guess they say most movies are kind of many miracles that ever get finished, and it was certainly for us. I mean, just everything falling into place the way it did.
So do you have another project you're working on already, a new movie?
We have quite a few projects probably. So it's like, which one's gonna get the head start and, get the funding for, and, I think that's, ultimately the important part, but yeah, we definitely have a lot that we work on together. We constantly collaborate, and so it's been good so far.
Do you want to stick with period pieces, or are you going to break out of that?
I'd like to, to me, it's, I guess, whatever story grips you. I certainly enjoy history, so that's a lot of those. A lot of period piece stories have gripped me, but I'm open to any story that's fascinating.
What inspires you? to go forward and make movies, or even to come up with your ideas? What's your inspiration? Do you have one?
I think we're both fairly avid readers. So I mean, I think both of us. I think most of our writing starts with like a story that we've read somewhere, and you know, it's always just been the miracle of taking that story and making a film. Like it's not an easy task. It's always you know, fighting the impossible. You know, can you do it? And so I think hopefully we'll be able to make more. I think that's the only thing I can say.
Well, it sounds like you did it, and you did it well, because you're here at the film festival, and we really appreciate that.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
Thank you for talking to me.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Teresa, and I'm here again at the Poppy Jasper Film Festival, and I'm with Susan, Rosalinda, and Asta, who are responsible for the film Spotless. So, Asta, tell me, what was your role in the movie?
I play a Polish housekeeper who is accused of a theft.
And what is the movie premise? What's it about?
It's about immigration, it's about power and how women deal with power and how we deal with people who are powerless.
So it's about becoming powerful when you were powerless. Is that a good description? And Susan, what did you do in the movie?
Well, my character was a sort of Southern belle who now lived in the North, but she had power through her husband in her particular generation. But she was also the power behind the scene, you know, the old power behind the throne kind of woman. But she was friends with Asta's character, who is the maid, Anka, and was loyal to her. But the point of the movie is that no one's spotless. There was a lot of betrayal in the movie and lying.
So have you guys worked on a film together before?
No, it's our first
This
time.
is our first time. Yeah.
And
Challenge. It was a challenge in a lot of ways. Well, first we all wanted to have an interesting part, and we created and developed these parts. And that was a challenge, trying to find 3 good parts for 3 women of a certain age.
And so who's the writer here? Are you all responsible?
We all collaborated, and then we hired someone to actually write it for us.
What was your inspiration, behind the story?
I think that the inspiration came from, we had talked about this, and it came from the film Crash, and it was the housekeeper, the angry wife that Sandra Bullock plays. At the very end of the film, she has this scene where she hugs the housekeeper and she says, "You're my best friend." And that's where the seed started, but then it just went off in a whole different direction. You'd never know it. But that's how we started. Yeah.
We did a long day we did almost a full day of improvising. We had a friend who was a director and filmmaker, and he just came in and sort of led us in improv. And we were all a little timid about improvisation. It's kind of scary, and none of us is a real actual Tina Fey type, So, but he got us going, and before we knew it, we were creating these 3 characters were starting to emerge. You hear authors talk about how the characters just start talking to them, and that kind of happened to us. These words were coming out of our mouths, and anyway, that's how it happened.
So they all found their own voice within the writing. Mm-hmm. And so did you find was part of you in the character that you played?
I think there's always a part of you are the person playing the character, so there's always a part of you, but I can certainly relate to times in my life where I felt powerless, or things that I've done have been misinterpreted, and I paid a price for that, and that's kind of what happens to this character.
An O. Henry kind of plot by many people who have reviewed it, seen it, so it's got a little twist at the end.
So are you planning on anything in the future, working together again, or?
Well, you know, we're all primarily actresses, so we're pursuing our acting careers. I have an idea for a film, but we haven't decided that we're collaborating yet on the film. So I don't know. I don't even know if they've got. I think Susan's got an idea for a film too, and you know she's working on one. And and Asta's very busy with a couple of plays that she's been working on. So you know we're busy. I don't know about whether we'll do another play, a film together yet, but you never know.
Are you located here in the California area, or where are you?
From New York. Uh-huh.
I'm from Manhattan, New York too. We're both.
But I'm from North Carolina.
So how did you?
Can you imagine how we did this? There were a lot of conference calls.
So you came together to do the acting, obviously, though. Where was it filmed?
Yeah, well, actually, we all met at BADA, which is the British American Dramatic Academy in Oxford, some year, maybe I think 2002. And that's where we met, and that was a program to study acting, and we got to know each other. And from that friendship, a few years ago, we decided, hey, let's do this. Why not?
Right.
That's great. It's amazing when you stay in touch with girlfriends, isn't it? That you just get so much done throughout your life. It's that.
What's going to happen?
No, who knows? Who knew you would get back together again? Well, that's great. Well, good luck on whatever future projects you do, and thank you for talking.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Good evening, Morgan Hill. I'm George Panos, and welcome to the 7th Annual Poppy Jasper Film Festival Awards Ceremony.
Is this the award ceremony?
Sir,
Yes.
I think you're in the right place, but you don't have a helmet.
I don't? Oh, shite.
Come on, ladies and gentlemen, Victor Miller. Is there a speed limit here?
Just only when you hit the wall.
Well, if I may, introduce Victor Miller.
Yes.
As you all know, he is the author of the original screenplay for Friday the 13th. Here's my son. This is the man. This is the man. And he is a 3-time winner. He's a winner of 3 Emmys and a 3-time winner of the coveted Writers Guild of America Award for 20 plus years on TV soap operas, like All My Children, One Life to Live, and General Hospital. He's written 11 books and 9 Kojak novelizations. Now, Victor will kick off the awards ceremony, but not without introducing another presenter, Joe Estevez. Joe?
Joe Estevez.
A little bit about Joe. Joe has over 200 films credited as an actor. As you know, he's also a producer, director, and according to our brochure, and people around here quote, a heck of a nice guy. So he's no stranger to Morgan Hill. He's filmed both a short film called Glory Days and First Dog in Morgan Hill, and we love having him here. Now on deck, if I may, he will premiere the first West Coast showing of a full feature-length film, Primates. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
And the tickets are available at the box office. And now, before the awards are presented, we'd like to introduce the board members. Bill Lehman. Bill? Dr. Anthony Vito. Doctor, are you here? Ted Ferron. Victor Miller. And Bob Snow. Bob? Bob from behind the line. And we can't forget the co-chairs, committee members and volunteers who make this all possible. Please stand up. Thank you. I'd also like to acknowledge my fellow judge, Marike Rees. Marike. And of course, please patronize our sponsors listed in the program, especially Cinelux, and feel free to join them as well. And now on to the excitement. First, I'd like to introduce Ryan Colton. Now, he's the Poppy Jasper Student Scholarship winner. And something about Ryan, he's a 2010 graduate of our own Live Oak High School. He's an Acorn. Now, a little background. The award was created to promote and support new filmmaking talent toward a career in the film industry. Good luck to you, Ryan. And now to the award ceremony. Victor, it's all yours.
Jurors' Choice Award, Best Creative Media 2010, Recreation by Trisha Gum.
I'll go. Jurors' Choice Award, Best Social Commentary, 2010 Poppy Jasper Film Festival for Lunch, Avis Richards and Israel Bonecki.
Jurors' Choice Award, Best Documentary, 2010 Poppy Jasper Film Festival, Meltdown in Tibet, Michael Buckley. I will accept this award from
Jurors' Choice Award, Best Comedy 2010, Papa Jasper Film Festival, Cold Turkey, Gavin Keane.
Must be present to win.
You gotta keep these.
Jurors' Choice Award, Best Drama 2010, Poppy Jasper Film Festival, Juche Rules, Christina Romeo.
Hold it. The producer, director, writer, or whatever. Or writer.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you got one.
Yes, I almost got to take that home.
If I may, this is Mark Anew. I just wanted to announce who accepted the award, the writer for it. So if I may. Thank you.
All right, Jurors' Choice Award for the Best Overall Film for 2010. Notes online, Tusha Sherar. I can't pronounce it. I'm not pronouncing this. I'm terrible.
If I may. We have here the notes online. I believe it's Tirza Sharia.
Very good.
Thank you.